Okay, I started that video and then I think I went on a complete tangent. This is part 3. So again, I'm gonna try this. Okay, so MAGA is the narcissistic abusers in this situation. Of the reality that's going on right now, because MAGA supporters have the privilege and the ability to deny people's realities. Everybody else who's below them, whose realities they are denying, we do not have a choice but to face the reality that they continue to deny, because they are not in that reality, right? They're not in women's realities. They're not in Black people's realities. They're not in Hispanic people's realities. They're not in poor people's realities. They are in white privileged realities. Now, a lot of them are in like poor, maybe like white communities, but still at the same time, it's like, that's why they are doing what they're doing, because they are denying that, like, our humanity and our rights. So that's narcissism, when you deny people humanity or rights, or that you can't agree to disagree with their reality, that yes, maybe you have a different opinion of reality, but they're also allowed to have theirs. It's very much like you have to be in ours, and you have to be Christians, and like that's why they're putting all this shit all on women's bodies, and they're, you know, taking back the Black voting and the Voting Rights Act, and they're, you know, taking away mifepristone, and they're doing all these abortion bans, and they're asserting all this control and dominance, is because that's narcissism. They're trying to get us to conform to their reality. But the thing about their reality is that it harms all of us, including them. It's harming them. That's the thing about it as well, is that they are just able to deny that they are harming all of us and that they're harming themselves. And they've been manipulated against that, unfortunately. Like, that is just the truth of it. There is a huge level of they do not realize what the fuck they're doing. And here's the deal. Even if they realize what they are doing, they are too afraid to leave their realities. So they will do whatever they have to do to survive. When you realize that everybody's in a state of survival down here, it really shifts your mindset and your framework towards people. The fact that actually we are all working out of traumatized, manipulated survival states. Every single one of us, even rich people. They are not safe in their minds. They are not safe. They are not safe in their minds. Trust me, I grew up in fucking rich, privileged communities. They are not what they come off to be. They can present very well, and behind closed doors, it's very different, right? And I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. It doesn't matter what community you come from. A lot of parents do this, where they pretend, you know, they're good and whatever, and then behind closed doors, they're absolutely awful or terrible or things like that. And so, and Christians love to do this, you know, they love this shit, because they love to hide behind Jesus and God. Like, they are like these amazing people who are kind-hearted and trying to do the right thing. And don't get me wrong, there are real good Christians out there, right? But even if you're a good Christian, you're still in a manipulated religion that is promoting your oppression, because it is patriarchal. And it's also a lie. It's not the full truth of like what's even going on. It's not the truth. It's just not the truth of what's going on down here. It's meant to scare and coerce and manipulate you into submission and into not even questioning it. Because then they can continue doing what they want to do, right? That's what we're starting to learn. And so that's why so many people will deny your reality, because it's easier to deny your reality than to like try to change or face theirs, because that requires change, and it requires humbling, and it requires putting aside their pride and their identity, and it actually requires a lot of skills, compassion and empathy, and putting others over yourself, and trying to understand where people are coming from. And that obviously is historically not their strong suit. They don't actually have those qualities or capabilities. And this is actually what's going to take so long to develop. This is why I keep getting it's going to be 10 to 20 years of a healing timeline. Because these abilities and capabilities that we naturally have as light workers, these people will have to develop as a skill. And it is extremely difficult if it's not in your nature to do this. Because it's extremely difficult for us who this is in our nature. A lot of us Democratic people are ready to chop all their heads off, and ready to cut their peens off, and ready to just take them all out. You know, everybody's in this violent state. Like, just get them back, or, you know, or we're ready to take out the reptilians. You know, we all think that reptilians are running. Like, there's all this shit going on right now that is aggressive and violent. And so that's actually a narcissistic trait. To want to harm somebody, that's a narcissistic trait, because then you're denying somebody's humanity. Humanity is that we allow people the chance to fix themselves. And since we all have the awareness that we have been manipulated on a mass scale that goes beyond what we can even comprehend, then we cannot at all anymore be in this position of fighting with each other anymore. That's what this like omnipotence does. It completely like puts out the fire of like what's going on right now, because you're like, okay, we have got to stop arguing between each other. We've got to stop victim blaming between each other. We are the victim. We need to get in like us versus them as far as elites versus everybody else. And even them, it's not really, it's like, so that's again like why I'm so convinced that the aliens are coming, because I'm observing so much about how even people on this side, the spiritual awakening side, the blue side, the people who are supposed to be these mature, better than compassionate, empathetic people, right, actually are hypocritical and are not capable of regulating their emotions or being emotionally mature or allowing other people to exist in other realities and not taking it personally. And they're not past the anger part of grief, because that's just what it is. You're just in the anger part of grief, but you do eventually get to acceptance. And that's what that's literally like my entire channel is like is learning how to get out of the anger stage of grief. I had to grieve my entire life. My whole fucking life. That's why I'm an expert on grief, guys, because that's all I did all my life was grieve. And one of the first stages is denial. So again, that's narcissists. That's where they're at. They're at the denial stage of grief. The blue people are at the anger stage of grief, where they're like, okay, I'm not denying the reality anymore, but now I'm fucking pissed at it, and I'm fucking pissed at you people because you can't see what I now see. But sometimes blue people tend to forget that they once did not see that shit either. I mean, in my personal experience, again, I graduated from Republican manipulated mindsets when I was 13 years old, but still, I was brainwashed for 13 years of my life by my white Christian father and all the Christian men around me. And I didn't get a lot of validation. So the only validation I would get is if I would like talk in a way that like I would be like, oh yeah, we need to like close the borders and we need to like, do at 13 years old I learned to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, that wasn't me though. That wasn't fucking me. That was like the feeling that I liked from the people around me. I liked feeling like I was included. I liked feeling like I was smart. Like they wouldn't tell me I was smart if I tried to like actually say what I thought, which is that, Jesus' teachings, that we need to be kind and caring to everybody, right? Which is what a lot of blue people are. A lot of blue people are aligned to Jesus' teachings, but they're not aligned to the embodiment of Jesus. They're not aligned to like the compassion and the kindness and the caring towards everyone, the unconditional love part of Jesus. And again, unconditional love does not mean there's no accountability. And that's where, again, everybody gets fucked up. Because a lot of people do give out unconditional love with no accountability. And so, like, that's why they project that onto me, because they're not holding people accountable or have boundaries. But me, all I've done is hold people fucking accountable. Strict-ass boundaries. I have nobody in my fucking life. Like, again, I forgive a lot of people in my life. I've come to this metacognition understanding. I'm not as angry at them. I've moved on. I've moved into the acceptance part of grief. But I do not allow people into my life or my frequency. I'm on a strict fucking rule. And that's what you need to do. You need to become strict with your energy, but you need to become open with your heart. Strict with your energy, open with your heart, and learn how to effectively communicate. And that is how we're going to move this society forward. If you want to be a new earth leader, this is what you have to be doing. You have to be deconstructing the systems of oppression. You have to be detaching from trauma and emotions. Emotions from our 3D reality. We are here to master our minds, and you do not master your mind by getting sucked into the system that you are here to get out of and master against. And if you're still getting angry at people over petty shit that you cannot control, you cannot go out there and go and take down Trump. You cannot go out there and change all these MAGA supporters right now. That is not what we can do. So that's out of our control. So the only thing we can control is our response to these people then. And we need to respond in an emotionally mature, neutral way. I'm learning. Again, this is all stuff that I'm learning, guys. Like, you can see I wasn't always this way, but I'm learning that, like me being angry and getting grumpy and saying shit to them, that's like not effective. It's just not effective. It is not effective. And it is actually it strikes cortisol in my nervous system. So there's two benefits to it, is that you can be effective, you can really help and try to communicate with people, and you calm your own nervous system because you don't give a fuck what they say. Then you don't, it's just like you present your truth, and whatever they say, it's none of your business.